Hi, my name is Lindsay McClymont. This was my very first class in this course, so it was really fun for me for a lot of different reasons. Just fun getting used to getting back into the swing of going to school and, prioritizing my time and all of that. I'm really glad that we started out talking about collaboration and teamwork and coworkers. I feel like this year has been so hard already and we haven't even finished the quarter. It really seems like a lot of people are having trouble talking to each other. Stresses are really hurting other people for different reasons. So it was really good to have some sort of a refresher, talk about different ways to talk to people, coping with stress and things like that. Um, One of the reasons I feel like talking about collaboration is important is because I've heard so many teachers say that they're really good at talking to teachers, but they're are really good at talking to students, but they struggle with talking to other adults. Um, it's interesting how many people I've heard say that over the years. And it's I feel like getting more and more evident as we go on when we're in IEP meetings or trying not to step on other people's toes. I feel like people really get in their shell. So I really enjoyed this class for being able to go over things like that. When we first talked about the fundamentals of collaboration, what really hit me was going over Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We talk about that a lot with students, but I really think that people forget sometimes that adults have needs that they need met too. So when we're able to stop and look at what different adults need, what's going on in their lives, how we can be there for them, I think it really goes a long way into helping be able to know what they need and then meet those needs, even if it's just with communication, or at least being able to understand why they're saying some of the things that they're saying. So that I think was really important for me, and it was actually something I was able to take back to some of our faculty meetings and talking about, really think about who you're talking to, what they need, what their backgrounds are, and trust each other, that we're talking to everybody for a reason and not because we're trying to be mean or something. The second module, when we talked about the stakeholders in the district, I think what really hit home for me was including the paras in talking about IEP data. I feel like so many times the paras are not talked to. They're looked at just as somebody who comes in to help the kids, but then they're often doing their own thing. And it's so easy to forget that they're seeing those kids in such a different light. They're seeing them in a small group or one-on-one or, different things like that. And so it's really important to be getting some of their information when talking about IEPs. Every single person who works with that student has a voice and should be listened to and collaborated with. So, that really meant a lot to me when I read that because it's not something that I had thought about before. My favorite module was module 3. I really like doing reflective assignments. And so when we were tasked to do the different checklists, I really liked that. I knew I was a good listener, but going through the checklist, I was able to really look at why I do that. I do listening really well, but then I also found out that I scored really low in emotional intelligence, which really surprised me because I feel like I'm very good at knowing my feelings and understanding the feelings of others, but I struggle with knowing how to respond to emotions or not hurting people's feelings and kind of getting in my own way. And so I was really able to stop and think about that, analyze the data, and start figuring out ways that I can stop doing that in the future so that I can be a better collaborator. So I really like that module the most. Module 4 was actually the hardest for me, which was interesting because we were tasked with talking about who we are as a person, and I feel like I'm really good at knowing myself, but it was really hard for me to put labels on myself as far as like who I am culturally and in the world and things like that. And so I didn't like that at first. It kind of felt weird. And then I felt like if it feels weird for me to be labeling myself, it's got to be weird for other people who aren't white women. So that was just kind of eye-opening for me, and I realized that that's something I definitely need to grow in more, is understanding people more culturally and, thinking more outside of the box as far as that goes. I did like the next module, which was going over technology. I've always liked technology and talking to parents with apps and things. But I had actually never stopped to think about the barriers that would have been with any of those apps. I kind of just find one that I like, and then I push it out to the parents. Stopping and thinking about why these apps would be beneficial, who can use them, who might not be able to use them, was actually a really good practice for me. So that's something that we talked about in one of our PLC meetings recently, actually, was, looking at what we have and if it's appropriate. And then we also talked about like looking at all the different resources that we have in our area. That's something I had never done before either. I've never thought about being somebody who can tell parents to look into resources that are outside of the school. I don't know why. I just had never thought about that, and I just didn't realize how many resources there are and how many of those resources are really good for me as a teacher as well. So all in all, I really, really enjoyed this course. I really hope to see some of the people in this course in another assignment coming up. And that's it. I had a great time. Thank you so much.